The truth of the matter is that 95% of music out there is taken originally from some other talented and gifted musician. In fact, it is recycled ideas. Challenge yourself. You need to write your own material. Talent scouts in this business hear hundreds of mediocre songs every week. You need to make your songs stand out from the rest. With a well-written song, it will pass the test of time. You may not even sing the song yourself, but it can still be a song that is in demand for years. If someone re-sings your song, you will collect royalties on this, which can't be a bad thing. So the key is to have good original lyrics. One of the most difficult tasks in songwriting is getting started. But it's also one of the most important, because if you start well, you'll have less trouble down the line. If you get past this point, the song tends to dictate where it wants to go. You just have to keep it on the right path. Start your song with a title that appeals to you. Make sure it's a title that rings true to your ears. One of the curious developments of the late 70s was the increase of garage bands, punk rock bands, and do-it-yourself bands, who just picked up an instrument or started to sing with some friends, and 6 months later recorded a record and began playing live gigs. Some new great music and directions in music came out of that situation. But now, years down the line, the novelty of making amateurish music has lost its shine. The music that is the cornerstone of the music industry, you will find, is often played by musicians with a passion and respect for the old masters of rhythm and blues, jazz, folk legends, and rock, along with the songwriters or whatever inspired these musicians to take this path. You don't need to just play or sing, you need to have the passion to always want to improve. You need to challenge yourself at all times to become a better and greater musician. Never give up learning. Fine-tune your skills and then demand more from yourself. Go to as many gigs as you can. Listen with eyes open and see what other musicians are doing and how they are doing it, and see if you can improve or create something new. Your music can become our music and go out to a wider audience. Think, can I do it better? Yes, you can. But you must never give up learning more. Take lessons in your instrument or singing to improve your chances. No matter what your development level, you can still find your unique style. Keep practicing becoming perfect. Go beyond your limitations. Who knows, you may discover something new about yourself. In the business of music, if we hear something new, original, and available to the public, we can invest in you with more security. Well, as you guessed, you are going to need some promotional material, bios, fact sheets, cover letters, photos. This is important that your audience knows something about you and your music. It might give DJs some insight into what material you've done in the past and what's on the horizon for the future. My advice to help musicians promote their careers would be to make your promotion material as informative as possible, include past press releases, or bios, and write-ups you may have had in the past and organize into a professionally written bio. Do research with your possible targets as to how your promotion material is to be delivered. With the rise in internet technology, you will find a lot of DJs and record companies prefer to have promotional material sent via email. It's important your product looks visually good. If not, it could get lost among the rest of promo material they receive on a weekly basis. Make sure you don't forget a reaction form. You need to know what these DJs and record companies are thinking about you and your music. The problems you can get with a lot of musicians hoping to carve a career within the music industry is lack of patience, not willing to work hard enough, wanting money and fame, not tomorrow but now. You can normally tell the difference between a musician who's in it for the money and a musician who's in it for the music. The musician who is dedicated to her musical career will play every live gig that is available to them, focusing on the fact that it's a long-term project and not just for today. You may not get paid today for your live gig, but tomorrow it may be different. It could be the gig that makes you get noticed, thus taking you on to the next level of where you want to be. Some musicians are in the music business for years without getting that break that gives them stardom, but they have never given up, never lost focus, even after setbacks and disappointments. On the other side, you have the musician who wants it now, sometimes turning down gigs because of lack of money being paid, or in some case no money being paid. You have to remember that Rome was not built in a day. So, you've made your songs, but it doesn't stop there. You need to protect your interests. You want to get paid for performing your songs and need to take the correct steps going forward. You have taken the time to learn as much as you can about your skills, so why shouldn't you be the one to benefit? If you had a great invention, I'm sure you would take the necessary step to protect your invention. You would probably apply for a patent. Well, the same rule will apply with your music. You have numerous places to find out more on this subject. Do a search on the internet, your local library, or even a bookstore for the relevant information on copyrights. You need to learn as much as you can about this subject. You don't want to miss out on any royalties. Much can be learned from doing your own management. Learn by taking on the job of securing gigs, promotion, and publicity, planning tours, arranging rehearsal venues, deal with all day-to-day problems that may arise, communicate with and/or reps, label and publishing personnel. But sometimes this workload can take you away from what you might do best, making music. It's at this stage you may have to consider appointing a proven manager to do this work for you. To find the right manager may be difficult, as managers that do this for a living will normally only take on clients that will generate income. One of the most important jobs of a manager is to secure a recording and publishing contract for their clients. They will have the contacts and skills that is required of a manager to succeed in the music business. Make your choice after careful consideration, as it is the manager that will be representing you in any music business deals that you may do in the future. You may have a few record labels or companies interested in your music. Well, this is normal and could be good for you, but tread on the path of caution. Not everything that glitters is gold, so be careful what you wish for. We've all heard good and bad stories about the music industry, so you have to do thorough research on the companies or individuals concerned. Some musicians get so excited when they know labels or record companies are interested in giving them a contract, or a publishing company offers to sign them. Take time to learn a few things about any potential contract being offered. What is their track record like in the music industry? Are they familiar with your genre of music? How long have they been doing business? These and other questions could be crucial and must be asked before you proceed with any contract signing. Well, as I'm sure you are aware that everyone has an opinion on business, the music business is no different, and we all think we know the best way forward, but do we? It's all well and good you're listening to advice from people, but it is far better to listen to someone that has been there and done it, and with a proven record of success. This has the benefit that mistakes they may have made you can avoid these by talking to them first and deciding if what they say will affect you in any way. But as a rule, the best business comes from the experience of building your own career, learning from your label, record company, or publisher, and by your own mistakes. Remember, opinions are only regarded at this stage as feedback. Now that negotiation is underway with the label or record company, or publishing company wanting to offer you a contract you so much desire, it's time to get an attorney or lawyer to act on your behalf. It should be pointed out that when all is said and done, the negotiation usually tends to be left to the attorney or lawyer to sort out the finer details. The musician is never present at this stage. The musician's attorney or lawyer and the label or record company, or publisher's attorney or lawyer will meet, talk over the phone, email, text, or use fax to make their offer and counteroffer until they reach an acceptable conclusion. So, my advice to you would be to use someone that specializes in music matters with a proven record in this business is a must, and absolute necessity for any serious musician who wishes to fight the good fight in the legal arena. You've all heard musicians moaning that they have been ripped off by their label, record companies, or publishing company. But is it the case? Well, it would greatly benefit you if you were to educate yourself about the music business before diving into the contracts, etc. Understanding common issues can be of great benefit, but in most cases the information you require is not far away. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of books that can be obtained quite easily which will cover topics such as copyrights, contracts, standard business, business of music. The choices are endless. You also have a lot of information on the internet that can be very helpful to you and your career. So, you're a budding independent music producer, solo artist, or part of a group that has been making the music for the masses, but don't know what step to take in order that you can have your music selling on CD and in stores. Well, read on and I will let you know the best way to achieve your goals. What's the point of making all this music, but still can't get the deal with a record company to enable you to move to the next level and have your music selling in stores? Where should I start? What should I be doing? How can I have it looking like those CDs I see in the store? How can I get it in the stores? These are a few of the questions you might be asking yourself. This report is designed to help you overcome what may seem a daunting task of getting your music distributed to mass audiences. Over the past decade and more, we have seen the rise of digital music. What I mean by this is the recording of music has moved away from analog recording as we know it. This is not to say analog is dead in the water, as this is not the case. It is still used and preferred by some. But there's no getting away from the fact that digital is now the preferred choice for many, as you may or not already know. With the rise of the digital revolution, we no longer need to be experienced musicians to make music digitally or require the big recording studios with heavy financial costs. In fact, it has opened the door to all those that wish to use it. You can record almost anywhere within reason with the use of a decent computer, along with a good software package of your choice. With your computer, you are not limited to where you can use it. You could be at home tonight, at a friend's tomorrow, or even on holidays somewhere. You can still make the beats. Can you imagine having an orchestra in your bedroom? No, I didn't think so. I'd always keep getting asked, what's the best way to get my music production out on the platforms without major backing or being signed by a record company? Okay, so you decided on making a music production, but not sure what to do now? Well, your first step should be to have your completed music recordings mixed. Reason being, I'm sure you want your recording to sound as you intended. This is something that you can possibly do yourself if you are competent enough with mixing music recordings. You would need the correct software package for this, and you will find there are dozens to choose from. It would be a good idea to do some research on which package is best for you. Another option would be for you to use a professional studio that is used to doing this type of work. If you think you're not competent to do it yourself, I would let a professional do it for you. Once you have your music recordings mixed, you will need to have your music recordings mastered. The same process applies as with having your music recording mixed. Your music recordings need to be mastered in order for it to be acceptable for manufacturing process. Once it has gone for manufacturing, you will not be able to change anything. It would require you to supply a new master, which I'm sure you don't. So, there you have it. You now have your music recordings mixed and mastered and ready for production. It is possible you may want to do a test with the market to find out if you have a possible hit or something that will sell enough units to make the project worth your while and to proceed with. You may want to do a promotional DJ session and see what reaction you get from DJs that cover your genre of music. This can be a good gauge as to whether there will be a buzz on your music, and it could indicate on how it will fare in the open market. If you have music that will be for mainstream, go to places that will play that sort of music. Get to know the DJs, they can make or break your project. If you have them on site, you are in the right direction. You can use the social networking sites to promote your music. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok are a few of the most popular sites at the moment, but this changes all the time. Make a video if possible, which can easily be placed on YouTube, TikTok, IGTV, or a similar video site. Use the blog site if you can and any of the music channels on TV. This will help as they are always looking for new material for their sites. You have music magazines and newspapers which you can put adverts and articles in. The possibilities are wide. Why not ask your family and friends what they think of your music? Get as many opinions as possible. Also, if you can get any time on local or major radio stations, then do so, not forgetting you have thousands of internet radio stations. If you can get details for them, this is also another option. Do you have a website? You should if you are serious about your music. You can use email to send out promos digitally. With this method I have used shortened tracks to avoid piracy. The whole point is that you need as many people as possible hearing your music. It's no use having distribution if no one knows about it. The more interest you can get, the better your chance of it being a success. You have to remember that your distributor will not advertise your product unless you are signed to them in some sort of way. Well, that's the guide for getting your music out there in the wide open market without aid of the major companies. Okay, so you've heard this term in music, use digital download, and often wondered what it is, what it means, what does it do? Sounds like something from Star Trek. Well, read on, my friend, I will let you know what I know. It may help ease some concerns you may have that someone has told you about it, to which you still could not understand the concept. Over the past 10 years and more, we have seen the explosion in digital music. What I mean by this is the recording of music has moved away from analog as we know it. No longer is the audio cassette, phonographic disc, vinyl record the preferred choice for listening to music as we know it. We have moved on in leaps and bounds to the digital revolution. We no longer have to be an expert musician or sound engineer to make music, or require the recording studio along with the big overhead cost of producing your music tracks. Digital recording has opened the door to all those that want to use it. You can record music almost anywhere within reason, with a good computer and the correct equipment, software, and a little knowledge at a much lower cost than using a professional recording studio. With the rise in digital music, we now have a generation that has grown not knowing what a turntable is, or what it does, do you? In the comfort of your home, you can browse on the internet anytime, so you have yourself 24-hour store at your fingertip. So, the question is, what is a music download? It is simply a music track that you can obtain via the internet, which can be played on an electronic device made for purpose. The most popular site for obtaining music downloads is Apple Music, Amazon, Spotify, and SoundCloud, just to name a few, as there are now hundreds if not thousands of download sites available to you, all varying in contents and price. You have subscription sites such as Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, to name a few. You also have some of the bigger companies, but you may find that you need a catalog of music, so the small companies will accommodate the independent labels. You have some that will want an upfront one-off fee, some will want a monthly fee, and others will not charge you for this, but take a percentage of your sales. You may find some that will pay you monthly, whereas some will pay quarterly, but you can decide. You will need to supply an artwork cover and fill out any necessary copyright information. Then you should be okay to submit to download site, but the same rule of thumb applies as with any music you release. You must promote your music. You need to get noticed in the competitive world of music. If no one knows about it, you make your job harder. You need to be heard. If you are in a band and serious about making it big in the music industry, having your own website is a great move towards being noticed. With your own website, this will allow you to tailor it specifically to your requirement and to represent each individual in the band, which will be easier for your fans to access by just typing in one web address. Make sure the website is done to a high standard and looks good visually. There is nothing worse than your fans or potential fans going onto your website and being disappointed with the quality. You can do blogs on your website where your fans can interact with you. And you can also give the fans the option to sign up for a newsletter. You want your fans to feel connected to your band. Here are our top 5 reasons why your band needs a website. A lot of bands don't have a mailing list, which they should. It helps to keep your fans posted with upcoming gigs and any products you have coming out. By creating a mailing list, this will ensure your fans get all the information from one source, rather than having to go to several different sites. You can give away a free download of a track or one of your live videos. This will give your fans an incentive to sign up to your mailing list. An online store is important so fans can get your CDs, posters, t-shirts, or any other merchandise you have to sell. This also makes it easier for your fans to purchase your products than having to search through various sites. Having an online press kit is essential so you can tell venue hosts, managers, or booking agents to look at your profile on the website. Your press kit should include photographs by a professional photographer, music files, a written biography of your band, press clippings, and videos of your band performing. Having a website shows credibility and professionalism. It is important for your fans to check out what
Having your own website gives you an edge over other bands that do not have a website. It gives the fans easy access to know what you are doing and builds up the reputation of the band. There are actually a lot of ways that you can get your music on different online sites, yet there is a need for you to know the details more so that it will be a successful transfer. You should know that if you will be successful in transferring your music to online sites, you will have the chance to get royalties. But you have to remember that when you become successful in doing so, that will be the time that you'll get it successful. More to that, you should always remember that when you try to transfer your music to Apple Music, there will be no fee required at all. All you need to do is to comply a specific process, then everything will go into place. There are no restrictions at all whether how many times you post music on Apple Music. For as long as you want, you can definitely do so. The first thing you should do is just to fill in the application provided by Apple Music, then your application will then be reviewed. You should know that this step is actually done by all artists who wish to add their music on Apple Music will undergo the same process. The review of application is often made for the purpose of upholding the name they have established, and even if it is open to all, they often see to it that only those who are able to comply with their standards will have the chance to take a slot. Most of the things will actually depend on the persistence of applications received. If there are a lot of applications being passed, then it may take some time before you will receive any feedback for your application. However, you shouldn't be afraid whether you'll receive a reply or not, because they will just contact you at the email address that you have provided in your application. They will also tell you whether your application is approved or not. After you will receive such confirmation, you can then upload your music to Apple website as what have been stated on the email you have received. Through the link, you can now have an easy access for the download of your music. You can also choose your own cover with the corresponding price, and of course there should be a brief description on what your music is. This will help a lot of people understand what the music you are giving is all about. It is a fact that if we can't get our feet on the right things to do, then chances are we will never get to the bottom of it. If you won't be able to get the right step, then there will be a chance that you'll get nothing out of it. That is why following the steps would be very vital. No matter what kind of music you plan to download on Apple Music, it will not matter at all. It may be rhapsody, melodrama, rock, or any kind of music, for as long as you are sure that it will be a hit. You should also see to it then that you have uploaded the music very well, because without this nothing will be possible with your wish to upload your music. You should seek for the proper music distribution site that will take care of your music as it is downloaded. You should see it then that the format of your song will be in WAV, because if not, you will not be successful in doing so. There are actually ways that you could convert your music program to change CD tracks to WAV, in cases that it will really require you to do so. You can get the conversion of the song to WAV files through a stereo that has a 44.1 kHz sample rate and a 16-bit sample size. Visit a site designed to edit and sell digital music. You have to be sure actually that you will be able to follow the directions provided by the site on how to upload music and important information such as the name of the song and the artist as well. Try to add any graphic as well, which will at least be 1600 by 1600 in size and at least a 72 dpi resolution. However, you should remember that the graphic is not really that necessary, yet it is important because it will help you get the attention you want for your music. The site will actually handle everything else to get the material on the retail sites, and you don't have to worry no more when it comes to this. You can actually pay through PayPal or a credit card. All you need to do is to choose from the options provided for you. Despite that, you have to make sure that it may take up to 6 weeks or more for the sites to list new music, which will definitely include yours. This will happen if there are a lot of music in line. You should know that having your music into the Apple Music Store can be a vast step to take, but it will help you gain the necessary exposure you've always wanted. After all, there are a lot of listeners and avid fans of this store, and you'll really get the market you've wanted. Just be sure that you get in control with all of this than anyone else. Following the steps wholeheartedly will not harm you at any point you will look at it. You have to be very meticulous on these steps, because this will tell you whether you are successful on your process or not. The first thing that you will do is to fill out the online application form that will be provided by the site. You will then be required to enter the name of the artist who has sung the song you will be uploading. You also have to be sure that the address and the phone number of the said artist will be provided, because this will surely be needed on future purposes. You need to be sure that you fill in all the required details for your own benefit. Through this, it will be that easy for all of us to search on the type of song you truly want and download it. If you will just think about it thoroughly, you will realize that things are a lot easier as it is made this way. You will now feel like downloading your own choice of music is just a click away, and you will no longer find it that of a hassle to do so. After all, you are not required to do a lot of things just to be sure that the song gets in your phone in an instant. Indeed, things are a lot easier to handle when things are connected with the new technologies, because things are always simplified. Aside from the fact that you will be able to download music from Apple Music, you will also have the chance to sell your own music through this online service, and you'll definitely earn from this. Some may actually not believe on this, and they will often think that this is impossible, but you really can do so with Apple Music. If you want your music to be sold online, there is a need for you to secure an approval before anything else will go in the process. In this modern world, we are enjoying a lot of technologies and gadgets. We find great joy as we take advantage of the new leisure that is given to us. One of the things that we enjoy is music, and we would really want to know how to upload your own set of music to Apple Music, and in return we will be able to receive rewards after our music will be downloaded. We have to be aware that these things you will allow us to enjoy without actually causing us any stress. After all, this is what we mean about enjoyment, and we definitely will enjoy it as much as we can. Thus, you have to be sure that you take things at hand so that you'll truly enjoy such application. In everything we do, there are certain steps that we have to consider just to make things right. It is a fact that if we can't get our feet on the right things to do, then chances are we will never get to the bottom of it. Nothing will surely happen as you try to get your music on Apple Music. It usually takes some important steps to remember so that your download will be successful, but you don't have to worry because you can surely handle it. But even if the steps would come complicated, you will definitely find a way to learn it because of the royalties that you will get out of selling your music on Apple Music. This is actually one of the reasons why people want to try getting their music on Apple Music. The first thing that you should do to get your music on Apple Music is to open your internet browser and get in the Apple site, because this is where you'll start your journey in getting you music on Apple Music. The next thing that you will do is to click on the Apple Music tab, which is located at the top of the browser window. From here you can now look at the content providers, which is actually a link that will lead you to the bottom of the browser, which is underneath the Partner with Apple Music section. After that, you may now have seen the link where you can actually hit the online application provided, which is below the Become a Content Provider section. You are then required to click the drop-down menu which is located at the Apple Music application. After that you have to select your chosen application. There are certain choices, but since you opt to download your music, you should choose Music. Then you will have to click the tab which says Continue so that you can go on with the process. Remember that you can't continue with the process not until you hit the button Continue. You have to be very meticulous on these steps because this will tell you whether you are successful on your process or not. The next thing that you will do is to fill out the online application form that will be provided by the site. You will then be required to enter the name of the artist who has sung the song you will be uploading. You also have to be sure that the address and the phone number of the said artist will be provided because this will surely be needed on future purposes. You need to be sure that you fill in all the required details for your own benefit. In this modern world, we are enjoying a lot of technologies and gadgets. We find great joy as we take advantage of the new leisure that is given to us. One of the things that we enjoy is music, and we would really want to know how to upload your own set of music to Apple Music, and in return we will be able to receive rewards after our music will be downloaded. We have to be aware that these things you will allow us to enjoy without actually causing us any stress. After all, this is what we mean about enjoyment, and we definitely will enjoy it as much as we can. However, before you trying to go on the details and the process on how to get you songs on Apple Music, you should try to understand on what Apple Music Store is all about, because this is the only way to make you understand what you are getting in. Apple Music Store is actually known to be a digital music store which allows us to make use of the advancement of internet and all of the other technologies we have. It will allow people who have internet access to create an Apple Music account. Through this, it will be that easy for all of us to search on the type of song you truly want and download it. If you will just think about it thoroughly, you will realize that things are a lot easier as it is made this way. You will now feel like downloading your own choice of music is just a click away, and you will no longer find it that of a hassle to do so. After all, you are not required to do a lot of things just to be sure that the song gets in your phone in an instant. Indeed, things are a lot easier to handle when things are connected with the new technologies, because things are always simplified. Aside from the fact that you will be able to download music from Apple Music, you will also have the chance to sell your own music through this online service, and you'll definitely earn from this. Some may actually not believe on this, and they will often think that this is impossible, but you really can do so with Apple Music. If you want your music to be sold online, there is a need for you to secure an approval before anything else will go in the process. This approval will then make you a content provider on Apple Music. As a content provider, you will now then be allowed to upload contents to the Apple Music Store at any time of the day you want. Just be sure that you follow the steps provided. There are no restrictions at all whether how many times you post music on Apple Music. For as long as you want, you can definitely do so. The first thing you should do is just to fill in the application provided by Apple Music, then your application will then be reviewed. You should know that this step is actually done by all artists who wish to add their music on Apple Music will undergo the same process. The review of application is often made for the purpose of upholding the name they have established, and even if it is open to all, they often see to it that only those who are able to comply with their standards will have the chance to take a slot. Despite that, you have to make sure that it may take up to 6 weeks or more for the sites to list new music, which will definitely include yours. This will happen if there are a lot of music in line. You should know that having your music into the Apple Music Store can be a vast step to take, but it will help you gain the necessary exposure you've always wanted. After all, there are a lot of listeners and avid fans of this store, and you'll really get the market you've wanted. Just be sure that you get in control with all of this than anyone else. Following the steps wholeheartedly will not harm you at any point. You will look at it. In everything we do, there are certain steps that we have to consider just to make things right. Most of the things will actually depend on the persistence of applications received. If there are a lot of applications being passed, then it may take some time before you will receive any feedback for your application.